following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
To the adventure from Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Yo, here I am. Right here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I am in the Wellington studio, and we are about, I'll have to tell you in a little bit after we introduce the Pipe Nuts, but oh my God, what a hairy past couple days it was. I almost didn't go live again, but here I am. So let's bring on the Pipe Nuts.
Yo, Pipeman, how's it going?
Oh my God, you don't want to know.
I do. I think all of our listeners want to know too.
Okay, so first of all, yesterday, I co-host this other show that is on our women's network. Pipeman's there only in name, not in spirit. It's Dean really on that show. Okay. But
they know better than to let you on that women's network.
So, and it was the first show of the new season, and I wake up in the morning, I grab my computer, and sparks are flying off the power cord.
Ooh,
yeah,
oh
and so it turns out somehow it just like separated right from where you plug it in, so you can't even splice it. Like in the old days. These people in this century don't know about this, but back in the old days, when stuff like that happened, you grab some electrical tape, you cut the wire, and you resplice it.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. You might not want to tell people this kind of stuff because they're going to be screwing things up, and people are going to be.
No, it still
do
works.
not try this at home.
You know we stopped doing that
at your own risk.
Oh, exactly. No. See, people of our century know how to do it, but people of others won't. So when you're hearing this, don't do it now.
What year were you born?
Here's some proof right here. Juan, have you ever drank water out of a garden hose?
Yes.
Oh my God, he's not a true.
We're not talking about last night's boyfriend.
It was always hot too. Like you never got to the cold water for some reason.
But we loved it. See, Gen X kids, we loved it. It's like because our parents didn't give us water ever. Like there was drinking water, and there was no such thing as going and buying a bottle of water.
No,
okay?
Right.
Like it
out of
was
the
out
fucking
the
toilet.
faucet or nothing. Okay, and usually it was nothing. So it was like a treat. You would be outside. You weren't allowed to go home. And you were thirsty, and it was hot as hell, and you drank from the garden hose, and then you swam in the garden hose. Like the garden hose was the multi-purpose toy for Gen Xers. Okay, like there isn't anything you couldn't do with a garden hose.
If you put your thumb on top of it at the right angle, it becomes a sprinkler.
That's right. Yeah. See,
you know, I'm thinking about something. Hold on. While we were all out drinking out of the hose because they didn't want us to go home. What was the parent that was at home doing that we couldn't go home?
Drugs, swinger parties. Like I'm telling you that. Listen, that's what it was back then. Gen Xers were left, like we were the feral kids left out there, just to our own devices, and we had to be the parents to our parents. Okay, because it's like no, Dad, I'm not going in the car with you. You're too drunk. Okay, like, don't be a wussy. Okay, just get in the car.
Yeah.
Or so many things like that, or tripping off, or people having sex when you wake up in the middle of the night and have to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well,
yeah,
that's
stuff
interesting.
like that.
I've never had that. Never
My
had that
therapist
situation.
doesn't even know. My
Traditional
therapist
Jewish
doesn't even
upbringing,
know
I take
about
it.
that. My therapist doesn't even know about that because I don't even have a therapist. That's why. I'm
your therapist.
You think I'm going to tell a therapist stuff like this so they can put it on my record? Okay.
You can do the same thing with a bartender, and it'll cost you a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you should see what you can do with a stripper, but it doesn't cost you less.
I think the water hose was my first boyfriend.
Tell us about that.
No, that's best left for OnlyFans.
But I want to
you
hear
gotta pay
about it.
Yeah, you gotta make him pay for that.
Yeah, I want to hear about it though. Like, tell me the story of you and the garden hose.
Was this like a family garden hose, or
this is like a new Dr. Seuss book?
You know,
Rachel Dead's The Garden Hose.
And you're like, and you're like spraying each other, and you're like, and then like it hits somewhere like this, and it hits the right spot, and you're like, oh wait, do that again, because you're like little, and you just somewhere along the way, I think that, anyway, y'all front yard, no crickets.
Well, happy your voice there for a second, like you lost your voice.
I did, really?
Yeah,
like silent.
Was it just me, or did everybody notice that she went somewhere?
Yeah.
Where did I go?
It was that memory from childhood in the hose.
Yeah. So back to the garden hose. Okay. So then I tried to fix it with, with some redneck tape. That didn't work. So I had to actually.
Yeah, Rebel and I feel like, I like how he's a redneck. Right?
Well,
couldn't be Jewish tape.
No, Jews would just go buy another one, and that's what I did. So then I was like, okay, which store is closest to me? And
those rich Jewish men.
I went and bought, I bought a cord. It's not the exact cord, but this is how Jews work. Okay, you ready? I'm going to tell you how Jews work. I bought the cord because I needed it immediately to do this show. Okay. But I also knew that I was covered under warranty for my cord for my computer. So then I asked them when I was at the place I bought the cord. I'm like, can I return this? And they're like, you have 14 days. And I'm like, no matter what. Okay, cool. So then my plan is I'm going to drive home. I'm going to call Lenovo. I'm going to get my warranty covered as soon as the warranty thing gets shipped to me, which is the actual cord. Then I'll return the fake cord that I bought. And, that's how you do it.
I wish my vibrator had a 14-day warranty.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You just get a new one every 14 days.
You can't return it. I come back 25 years. It's broken. And I might have used it since I bought it, but it's flipping broken.
The Pink Panther, that brings back such memories because I remember my favorite childhood birthday party was a Pink Panther movie in the movie theater. I was laughing the whole time. I don't even remember why I was laughing to this day. So
wait, we were talking about you being Jewish. Speaking of Jewish,
love you, Pink Panther. We love you, Pink Panther.
I want to know.
Panther loves us all.
How did Mr. Jewish Pipeman spend Passover?
We're going to talk about that. I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
But let's talk about today because today, so the Pipemans, when I was in Costa Rica running from the feds, the federales, so one of them grabbed one of my teeth, like while I was running. And
grab one of your what?
Teeth.
My teeth. And the bond, I had a bonding on that teeth. And so it worked out perfectly. It's like somebody that has a prosthetic. Like you grab them and all you do is all he got was the tooth bonding. So like I had a bonding missing, but they didn't get me. No. Okay. So now they
got stuff that's full of DNA and everything else. Continue.
Yeah. So now what I had to do is I had to go this morning on the way. First, I had to go to my storage place and see if I could find another bonding, but
you have.
I usually go to the dentist for that, but whatever. Go on. Carry on.
I was
must
thinking,
be a Jewish thing.
Yeah, because I would save my time and money going to the dentist if I, like when you were a kid and you had your friend put a string around your baby tooth that wasn't even loose yet because you needed money, and you said, "Pull this out." It's kind of the same thing, okay? And
No.
I do have a good story about that, by the way. But
do you? You have good stories about lots of things.
No. But then that didn't work out. There was nothing in storage, so I had to go to the dentist. And the dentist that we go to, they used to have a show on our station. Okay, they're the best dentists. They're the best dentist in the whole Milky Way. Okay, and I only say the Milky Way because I don't know anybody past the Milky Way. Okay, but I know people in the Milky Way. Okay, and so they took care of me, and it happens to be, okay, near the studio. Okay, so I call Juan after I leave there, and I'm like, right, Juan?
The things he puts you through.
I thought this man was drowning. I was like, I'm gonna have to go save him.
And he's like, oh, what? And I'm like,
Take the dick out of your mouth. I can't hear it.
And so, yeah, what I was trying to tell him is, like, I'm going to do my show in the studio today, and basically set everything up ahead of time so I can just sit down and do the show.
You're infamous there 1 minute before the show, and you talk about me being late.
I wasn't even set up to do the show, okay? But I was here before you, Rebel. So, yes, if you're after me, you're late. That's
I understand that, but you used to step into that seat in 1 minute before.
The nuts have to test the waters first, okay? So yeah, that's what happened. I had that going on, and then I also the pipe Jeep, okay? I had to get the pipe Jeep fixed. God was on Juan's side. Let me just say that.
What happened to the Jeep?
You want to know why God is on one side?
We want to know.
It sounds like you said God is on the wrong side.
So I got to tell you this funny story that happened. Okay, so and at first I was kind of pissed at Juan, but being who I am,
I don't even know.
But being who I am, I'm like, I never react. Like I sit there and I wait till that emotion is totally gone to figure things out. Because sometimes what you blame people for things. People out there, it's happening all the time nowadays. They blame people for things because they're in a reactionary mode, and it turns out it had nothing to do with them. So I practice that. Okay, 99% of the time. There are some times that I'll lose my shit, and then nothing good happens.
You always lose your shit. You're in a world of lost shit.
Listen.
Sorry, did that just come out of my
You can't
mouth?
even find a freaking email, so don't talk to
Did
me.
I say that out
about
loud?
shit, okay? So here's what happened when I got back into my Jeep from Costa Rica. Now, just so you know, the pipe Jeep needed to be taken care of. So Juan took an amazing job of taking care of the pipe Jeep while I was gone.
Aww.
But then I get in the car and I adjust the steering wheel for me because I like the steering wheel way down. Oh, she's like the greatest artist ever. The one that's saying hi to us. My sunglasses are on, so I can't even see what that is. Rebel, can you tell me what emoticons they are? What are the emoticons on that comment?
I can't see. I can barely even see who's there.
Anybody on the show read those?
It's Katie Schmitz.
That part I read.
I think it's clapping hands.
Oh, okay.
I think it's washing hands. I think it's
but we love her. Everybody needs to check out Katie Schmidt because she rocks.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. In fact, there's an interview that everybody has to check out. But now I'm sidetracked again. Thanks a lot, Rebel.
How did I do it?
Okay. So what happened was I get into the pipe Jeep and I lower the steering wheel, but I forget to lock it back in place. So I drive all the way home, and then all of a sudden this sensor comes on the car, says 4-wheel drive service soon. And I'm like, what the?
It's never good when the car starts talking to you. It's never good.
And so and then I noticed like where it shows 4-wheel drive, like nothing's lit up. Like I'm not even driving. Okay. So I'm not sure if I was driving or not, to be honest. But
how can you not be sure if you were driving or not?
Yeah, this is right.
Well,
I think that's a problem.
that was a couple weeks ago, man. Hey, my mic is muted. Why is my mic muted? Or whose mic? It says mic is muted. Oh,
no, don't worry, it's not. You're loud and clear.
Oh yeah, I could double talk you people if you want me to.
No, please don't.
Sign language.
All right, and we probably won't even get to any of the things we were supposed to talk about today, but that's okay.
Let's talk about Passover. I want to hear.
We are going to talk about Passover. We are going to talk about the picture behind me, but we'll just finish this story real quick, okay?
Real quick.
Yes.
So where were we, Rebel?
You steering wheel dropped.
You forgot to lock the steering
you're
wheel.
4-wheel driving.
And then you got
you didn't know if you were
I want to
driving.
see if she's paying attention. We already know
You didn't
Rachel's.
know if you were
We
driving.
already know Rachel's not paying attention. She's
I
waiting
want
to
to know
talk
if you
about
put
Passover.
blood on the door.
I put blood on your door and you're still here, so it didn't work.
And
Okay.
what happens if the white people, or not white, but non-Jewish,
people,
right? Put blood on the
you
door.
do know
I
that
tried
I'm
that.
Jewish, but I'm also white.
I happened to be on my period during Passover, so I just took the maxi pad and I just shoved it on the door. Am I going to be saved?
Oh no, you're dirty.
From my cousin's baby?
No, you're dirty. If you're at your period, you can't get saved during your period.
No.
Oh Lord. Anyway, back to the car so we can finish that story.
That was a serious question. I really need to
get back to that one.
I'll take the pad.
So then I'm like, well, I'm saying to myself, well, why wouldn't Juan tell me that something lit up and that I needed service for something?
Because he didn't want you to know he took the Jeep 4-wheel driving on the beach.
That wouldn't
on the
have
nude
hurt
beach.
it. That wouldn't have hurt it. And there are nude beaches here, so that is quite possible. But so then it turns out it was like that. It was like that the next day. I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, I'm going to take it for service. Yeah. And then I hit my elbow on the lever that locks it back into place. I'm like, what the hell? And then I look, I'm like, oh. And then
the adventures.
And so mind you, like, okay, Juan will tell you, this is the first he's hearing about this. And I drove like this for 2 days before I called up and said, how come you didn't tell me this? I drove for 2 days. Why? Because something in my head said, don't say anything. Okay.
Well, that was your subconscious telling you, let's see how far it takes him before he realizes what he actually did.
Yep. So then, okay, here's the irony of all that shit. Okay. So then I just locked the steering wheel back in place and the 4-wheel drive stuff lights up. The light to warn me goes away and everything is a happy day. And then
happy day.
And then I park somewhere. And when I'm backing out of the parking space, it's not going anywhere. Kind of like there was a speed bump or something behind me. Because, normally, your vehicle and you only have to touch a little bit. I literally had to hit the gas really hard to move backward. And then I noticed, it was like you were riding the brake.
The e-brake, yeah.
Exactly. And
how long have you been doing that?
Well, I'm saying, no, that didn't happen long. And then, so that turns out there was something wrong, but it wasn't what I thought was wrong, but it's almost like God during Passover, because it did happen right before Passover. Okay, so I got back from Costa Rica. It happened right before Passover. I'm about to go to my daughter's for Passover because she's making this amazing Passover Seder. And so
I want to talk about that too.
Then I'm like, I have a flight that I have to catch. So I go to the Jeep dealership and they're closing the service area. But they they looked at slightly, but they didn't really have any mechanics there. And it's like now it's Saturday, everything's closed. And but I go next door is Tire Kingdom next to the Jeep dealership. And I'm like, they're open. So they check it out and they tell me it's the brake hoses. Okay. So I'm like, oh, I can't leave it there. I got to go to a flight. So I'm like, can I drive this? They're like, I wouldn't if I were you. And so I had to drive home. So I drove home and I was going to be driving to Fort Lauderdale Airport like 5 o'clock the next morning. Instead, I had to take a Uber to a train to the airport. I left my house at like 3 a.m. for what is literally less than a 2-hour flight to the Panhandle. Left the Jeep behind. You know, like I hadn't driven the Jeep in like 6 months. And this was my first experience coming back to the U.S. when I finally escaped the federales. Okay. This is my experience is my Jeep's not working. And the guy took my bond to my tooth. So this is where I am. Okay. And I'm like, I should never came back to the U.S. And so then I come back, it's Passover, and I come back and I go get the Jeep fixed. And then on my way to the dentist to get my tooth fixed, I notice in the email they sent me at Tire Kingdom, make sure not to go more than 25 miles before going back to us and having us check your lug nuts and re-torque everything. And I'm like, okay, they should have maybe told me that. And then I'm like, oh, now I have to get up. So that was this morning. I had to get up super early, go to Tire Kingdom for them to tell me, it's not really a big deal. We just put that on there. You know, it's kind of like the suicide warning on antidepressant drugs. It's not a big deal. We just have to put that there. Okay.
And since this is the first day of Mental Health Month, we'd like to put this PSA out there. If you have any kind of thoughts like that, or just need to talk to somebody, dial 988. Thank you.
Thank you for that. What happened to 211?
That whole story was as painful as watching people show pictures of their kids. Go on.
That's why I mentioned Mental Health Month.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's this though?
I don't know.
And what's this?
Hopefully it's drugs or alcohol.
Should we do a unpackaging reveal right here on the Adventures of Pipeman?
I agree. Do it.
On W4CY
Open it.
Radio.
Open
Talk
it.
for
Tell
TV.
us.
I think we need. Did we find that? By the way, what I was asking you about before. Look at that.
Now we're having fun.
You do have it?
Yes.
Okay. So before I open the rest of this, maybe let's play this fun commercial we have.
Sonic Temple?
Yes.
All right, here it goes.
Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival returns to historic Cruise Stadium. Slipknot, Disturbed, Pantera, the original Misfits, Evanescence, Slim Bizkit, Judas Priest, Stain, Breaking Benjamin, A Day to Remember, Falling in Reverse, Sleep Token, Rise Again, 311, Cedar, Mudvayne, and many more. May 16th through the 19th, Columbus, Ohio. Tickets on sale now at SonicTempleFestival.com.
Yo, Sonic Temple, are you guys going? If you're not and you want to go, look at what I have. Look at what the Pipeman has. Da-da-da. Wristbands.
Wow.
Wristbands. Woo. Okay,
Awesome.
so the Pipeman Radio Tour starts tomorrow. Tomorrow. So, Rachel, do you want to talk about Passover first or the Pipeman Radio Tour
I want to talk about Passover. I want to know, do you put blood on? Do you do that? Is that normal? Putting some kind of paint on the door?
It's not needed anymore. We're not slaves anymore. Okay?
People don't do that. Okay. Next question is, so Seder, I know you have to have the little plate with the chicken bone and the parsley and but you don't.
Well, back it up. What is that? Chicken bone parsley? What is that?
Oh, they
chicken
represent
bone.
all
It's a
the things
lamb
that you're
shank
supposed to have.
bone.
Yeah.
It's a lamb shank bone.
Okay. Chicken bone, shank bone. If you
For
don't
the
have
blood of the
money,
lamb that you had to
if
put on the
it might be
door.
chicken.
If you
Might be
identified as a chicken, would you want to be called a lamb?
Yes, you're right. It's got it because they had to slaughter the baby, beautiful baby lamb, right?
Something like that.
I'm in Meyerland. I'm surrounded by Jewish people. I went around and interviewed like 15 different Jews.
All right, so tell us everything you know about Passover.
I know everything about Passover.
I'll tell you what
I saw
usually
the movie.
Gentiles know.
Netflix
I'll tell
show.
you what
Actually, I
Gentiles
was-
usually know about Passover. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have this
I know
really
about the
good
baby, the
friend.
boy, and he floated down the river.
Yeah.
And then
This is more important.
All of it.
It's what you eat.
Oh,
So
it sucks.
I had this. I have this friend, really nice guy. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And he came over me and my
Matzah.
bro's house.
Bet.
And it's like me, my bro, his wife, we're all Jewish. And he comes and it's like October at this point. And he brings plain flavored macaroons. Like, so for those of you who don't know, macaroons are the baked good that you eat during Passover.
Everybody knows what a macaron is. Okay, go on.
Not everybody does. And especially the plain kosher for Passover ones, they don't know. Okay.
Why do Jews have to like take
over,
everything yummy and make it yucky?
Well, listen, he brings it over and we all look at him like, dude, Jews don't eat macaroons when it's not Passover. There's two rules to being a Jew. Don't eat macaroons during Passover when it's not Passover, and don't eat matzah when it's not Passover.
I
And
love
there's
matzah.
actually
I like
one more.
matzah.
There
I like
is
those
one
crackers
more.
with butter.
There's one more food that Jews only eat on Passover.
Gefilte fish.
That's it. That's the one I was going to say. Can you guess? And look at that. You knew it right off the bat.
Because I'm a little Jewish.
I just finished my jar of gefilte fish, my annual jar of gefilte fish.
Yeah.
Annual
the first
jar
thing I
of
did.
gefilte fish.
Yeah, it was
I
the
like-
first thing
I'm
I
in
did when I got
Ireland.
back from Costa Rica. Is I got off the train and I went and got gefilte fish.
I've never felt a fish.
I've never felt up a fish.
Well, I've felt a few, and I'm lucky I don't have the herpes. Just saying.
You are lucky. You probably do.
So 1 in 4 people have the herpes, which
I think
means
it's
one
more
of
than
us
that.
says Rebel's the only one that's been with the KKK, so I'm voting for Rebel.
I can show you proof from the doctor. Rebel ain't got nothing but
Yeah,
kidney
well-
disease.
Statistically speaking, it's more likely that it's you.
My cousin's
Me?
boyfriend travels around the world, so I'm sure I've got much worse than a little bit of herpes.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Right?
You had
He's-
everything.
yeah.
but herpes.
Yeah. I mean, I got some foreign shit going on.
Okay, so
Yeah.
speaking of herpes, let's
Who
take.
knows?
I have a question for all of you.
Mhm.
Okay, and I have a question for our listeners too. Two
Oh,
questions
okay.
for our
Well,
listeners.
hopefully nobody's
They
listening to
could-
this.
They could win some. They could either win
Hopefully
some
my
of these
ex-boyfriend
Sonic
something.
Temple. We have only a couple left. You want to win those,
Hey, look.
or oh, look at it! What's up, Michael? Michael's one of my
Double M.
Michael's one of my best friends from high school, and we got some stories. Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
here's the question. I don't even remember
Dungeons
what
and
the questions were.
Dragons.
What are the questions, Rebel?
What are the questions for what?
We were
what-
talking about herpes.
Okay. Oh yeah. There you go.
Right,
Okay,
right.
thank you. Okay, so
all of the venereal diseases.
I'm going to interview the three of you. Which venereal disease, sexually transmitted disease, or whatever the 52 other names they call it nowadays, are you most fearful of getting?
The gonorrhea.
That one's easy. You just take some antibiotics.
Sneaky.
You're
Yes,
good.
meows.
I would guess something that's not getting rid of. I mean, something
Yeah,
you
like-
can't get rid of.
Oh,
and can kill
right.
you.
Something like AIDS.
Yeah, gonorrhea.
No,
you
AIDS
take
is
a pill
controlled,
and you're fine in a
right?
few days.
Like AIDS or HIV. would be the
No,
worst.
yeah. I
even
knew, I knew someone that
AIDS
got
can
that
be
shit.
treatable nowadays.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. For me, the absolute worst, and this is okay. This
Tell
is
us.
presidential campaign. This is my presidential campaign of what I want to do in schools is stop showing little kids gross stuff that they don't even know about yet. because the
It's
one that
so
scares
true,
me
yeah.
most of all comes from 7th grade sex education class, and it
Staph
was
infection.
venereal warts.
Yeah.
Ew.
They showed us a
7-year-old
picture on a
staph
big.
infection.
Yeah, they showed us a picture on the big screen. Okay,
Horrible.
on the, oh my god,
Yeah.
They do that to us.
it
too.
was the scariest.
Right?
Like I still
You
have that
stick
image
your
in my
ding
head.
dong in
It-
How
that.
would you get that, and how would you get rid of it? Do they like freeze things off? Ew,
You
that
never
just
get
sounds
rid of it.
gross.
It's dormant,
It
just like
involves peanut butter and a chihuahua. That's all I gotta say.
It's like the McRib. It always comes back.
so.
That keeps on giving.
And I'm so paranoid of diseases. When I first got divorced, I was with this Chilean girl, and she told me, like, she said, like,
I guess you know.
20 years before she had one venereal wart and it went away and she never had it again. And I'm like, I'm out. I'm out.
But I bet you'd already been in, haven't you? You'd already did a little in and the out by the time that came out.
He says many, definitely not D&D.
Right,
Yeah,
we're talking about
Dungeons
Dungeons and
and
Dragons.
Dragons.
Come on, I know you little boys. That's what y'all did.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, little D&D.
Is that what he's referring to?
Yes.
Is there a sexually transmitted disease called Dungeons
No,
and Dragons?
I think he's talking about the memories,
Oh,
the stories from high school when you guys would run down to the dungeons and play with the dragons.
I think
I don't know what that's code for, but apparently that was a fun thing.
I don't know
you guys
where
did.
you were going
That's
with
where
that.
you got your
Okay.
first venereal disease.
There are definitely some pipe man stories from back in the day, for sure.
Was he a go-go?
So didn't exist. What didn't exist?
D&D didn't exist?
D&D existed.
Yeah, see, I knew you played that shit.
No, actually,
All
I
the you
did.
boys did.
I did play a couple times. I wasn't really into it, to be honest. And I am into nerdy shit, but I wasn't. It was that I wasn't.
I can tell.
D&D didn't exist, so I don't know what D&D is. Is it
D&D is a cock.
Is it
blocker.
dicks and dildos or something?
It's like when you're trying to get that Jewish.
That sounds
boy's
like a
attention,
club
and
out
he's
there.
Like, I gotta go play D&D.
It sounds like an LA thing, personally. Okay,
It might
so
be.
look behind me. Do you know what that picture is right there behind me?
That would be West Palm Beach, Florida.
Well, you're almost right. You're almost right. So the Pipeman Radio Tour starts tomorrow, where I'm going to go to one of my favorite, local clubs here in West Palm, Respectable Street. And
Oh Lord.
Strike down lightning.
Rebel, why don't you tell people about your experience at Respectable Street? This is a punk club, new wave club, industrial club. I brought her there on a punk night with a hardcore punk band. It's got It's got like a big stage area, but then it has a back bar that has brick, and that's where the hardcore bands are playing. So what happened, Rebel?
So he brings me to this place. I've never in my life been to a place like this. Okay, for a situation like this.
It's
so
a place verbal abuse would play, by the way.
Oh, Nikki.
We go through the first bar into the outside bar where there's people. And
Hold
I'm
on, pause
talking
for a
wall to
second,
wall
Rebel.
people.
Let me say that DRI plays there. The Misfits play there. Agent Orange plays there.
Nice. Fucking
Okay.
yeah.
Go on,
Yeah.
Rebel.
Beautiful place to go. But if you're not expecting this, okay?
Yeah.
I have never been to see anything in this genre, okay?
Yeah.
Ever. And
This
I
was
know
like my
why.
first War concert. Was just like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was so confused. All the blood and shit they were throwing out. And I was with Nikki Sicky with verbal abuse. He took me to my first Guar concert. It's fucking badass.
This place, there's wall-to-wall people. I'm scared to death. I find a little spot by the speaker. And Pipeman goes to get something at the bar, and he doesn't really drink, so he's not going to get alcohol. He's just going to get something regular to drink.
I think I was going to hit on a chick personally.
Possibly anything's possible. Well, he leaves me by myself, so I find myself right by a speaker, so I think I'm going to be safe there. Oh, hell no. These people come and push me into the wall, hit me in the stomach. I'm like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die right here. And I don't even notice music. What is going on here?
Got thrown in the mosh pit.
There it is. So I'll be there. I'll most likely be there tomorrow night for the Dolly Rots, which are a badass band. Badass. It's going to be so much fun. What would be more fun is if Katie Nip would play at Respectable Street, but she's like an awesome blues, true musician. So she might want to play a classier club.
Well, it wasn't so bad when we came out of the outside and back into the inside. They had a band playing that had electric fiddle, I believe, at the time. So it was decent in the inside, but all those people on the outside pushing.
Rebel was scared around the punks, Rachel. She was so scared around the punks.
Nothing scares me.
So then the next day, Friday, this week, I'm going to be at that picture. So, Juan, you're partially correct. That picture is downtown West Palm Beach at the waterfront, but that is a picture of SunFest. Because see the whole crowd there? That's where I'll be at. SunFest starts Friday here in West Palm Beach, a local festival to start off the Pipeman Radio Tour. I mean, I love it. And, man, it's going to be killer. In fact, Rebel, while we're talking here, why don't you look up SunFest and read off to us?
No. We're not doing that game.
I can do it. I'll do it.
All right, you do it, Rachel. I'll tell you right off the bat.
Okay,
Billy Idol, Dashboard Confessional, Third Eye Blind.
Okay.
Oh, there's also another one of the bands, punk bands, are one of my favorites that is playing locally here this weekend, and that's Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
Line up, SunFest.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Cole Swindle, Young Gravy. The revivalist.
Swindle.
You missed the first line. You got
Dylan,
Nelly,
Billy Idol. Holy shit. Shaggy, The Fix, Critical, Fox Mabel Band, Slow Funk Punk. Love it. Bryce Vine, The Aces, Paul Russell, Haley Witters. Did I say that right? Witters. Matt Corman, the Killbillies, the Lubin Brothers, Revolution, Third Eye Blind, Dashboard Confessional, Matty
Let's talk about him. Matty Yahoo is this
Boys Like Girls.
Is this Hasidic Jew. He's a Hasidic Jew that does reggae and rap.
Oh,
reggae and rap.
So hot. You need to connect me with him. I love the Hasidic Jews.
And then Cassidy Pope is a local. Okay, so Cassidy Pope's a local. Rebel, do you remember who Cassidy Pope is?
Of course I do. She was on The Voice. She won The Voice that year, did she not?
Little Stranger.
She won The Voice the same year Michaela Page was on The Voice.
Yes.
And she used to be in a punk band, and she was on tour with Fallout Boy, and then she went on The Voice, and she turned country. And guess what?
What?
Pipe Man's gone country too.
That's why we dressed up in country. So we got to figure that one out.
Yeehaw!
Hey, Juan, let's roll it. That was the cue. I never told you what the cue is, but that was the cue.
Oh.
Kind of helpful if you do.
The cue for
Born and Raised. Born and Raised. So
Gone country.
They just announced the lineup. Tickets are on sale now. Born and Raised is one of the most popular country festivals in the whole country. It's in Oklahoma. It's the same place as Rocklahoma. Like, people in Oklahoma, they love this festival. And Danny Wimmer, who handles a lot of festivals that I go on tour for and do ticket giveaways for, Danny Wimmer Presents has taken over this festival. So they now have Rocklahoma and they have Born and Raised. And so Pipe Man's going country. I will tell you, there's one, and I want you guys to guess when he plays the commercial. There is one artist on this lineup that the Pipe Man is a huge fan of since I'm a teenager. See if you
Aw.
can guess who it is.
Okay.
Roll it, Juan.
I don't see it on here.
Oh, maybe you know,
Roll it, Rachel.
maybe
No,
I
I don't
didn't
see
upload it. Okay,
Roll it,
you
Rebel.
upload it while
Where
I
do you
waste
have it?
time. It's maybe I'll upload. Why don't they waste time? Hey, you
Rolling
guys,
it right along.
why don't you tell us what your activities were for the week?
What you have going on, Rachel?
Oh, I just left Fox News. I've been playing around with them all morning. You know what? It's so cool. I was out there and with Ruben Dominguez and Fox, and some people came up and they were like, you know, he talking to him, and he introduced me, and they were like, "We know who you are. You're the Coffee Talk girl." I was like, I love that.
Awesome.
I
Totally
know.
awesome.
Yeah.
I could say I had not such a pleasant time. I got food poisoning on Friday last.
No.
Well, why did you do that?
It's going around.
Food poisoning.
It's a
Do
strange
not
thing.
eat
Yeah.
from those little cups. You know when you can get little dipping cups or whatever?
Yeah.
Don't eat them.
Oh,
Do not.
Don't eat the cup.
Never
I
in
know.
my life.
Why
Eat
would you
not
eat
eat
a
the cup.
dip? Why would you eat a dipping cup? No wonder you got food poisoning. You're eating a
Yeah.
cup.
I didn't eat the cup. I ate the stuff that was in the cup.
That's funny.
Garlic
I
sauce.
That's what I thought you
What
meant.
was it?
Garlic sauce. Of
Are
all
you
things.
sure it was
Oh,
garlic
the
sauce?
dipping. I was thinking the ice cream.
Are you
No,
sure it
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
garlic
I got
sauce?
you.
Maybe it was spew. Jizz.
I don't. Well, it was sealed, so
Go back to your
I mean,
OnlyFans page.
it was sealed, and it was probably just bad. You know, who looks at the dates? I won't even eat anything. I mean, nada, zip, none. Unless
long
of
did it-
course,
how long
All right,
did it
Rebel,
last?
I know it's
shut up.
fresh, brand new.
Shut up. We found it. Go, Rockman.
Dust the red dirt off your boots and get all your rowdy friends together. Born and Raised Music Festival is back for one hell of a weekend. September 13th through 15th, 2024 in Pryor, Oklahoma. Featuring Cody Johnson. If you got a chance, take it. Hank Williams Jr.
All my rowdy friends are coming over tonight.
Cole Wetzel.
You have something to talk about.
Midland.
People say I got a drinking problem.
Dwight Yoakam.
Oh, so good.
Plus the Red Clay Strays, Shane Smith and the Saints, Paul Coffin, Treaty Oak Revival, the Cadillac 3, and many more. Passes and camping on sale now at bornandraisedfestival.com, starting at $10 down. The best camping and the rowdiest party. The festival for the outlaw and all of us. Born and raised.
All right. I'm going to go with either, because I'm going to go with Hank.
Hank Williams Jr.
Right? It's going to either be Hank or the other one. Wait, go back to like the fucking other one was.
All right. So here's the deal. How much time we got left? Oh, we got time for another quarter of a story. No.
Quarter
All
of
right.
a story.
So there were these dudes we hung out with in Agura, me and my best bro, the one that passed in September. And they were some like Idahoans.
Idahoan.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Idaho.
So
I'm
from Idaho,
Idahoans.
here's what people from Idaho are like. First of all, they all have huge trucks. Okay.
I have a huge truck.
Where is this they grow them big in Idaho. I can tell you that too. And,
Ooh, OnlyFans.
and
Go
they
ahead.
Growing big here too.
and they definitely like one particular artist in particular, and so they got me and my bro totally into this artist, and we were total freaking metalhead punks, and like you would never think, but you know, tell me, Hank, why do you drink? Why do you smoke dope?
Yeah.
It's just a family tradition here at Pipeman Radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we could be born and raised with Hank Williams Jr. You are the winners. Both.
You like Johnny Cash?
I do love Johnny Cash.
Fuck yeah.
Okay. And so check this out. Since you mentioned Johnny Cash, you know who played in Fort Lauderdale this weekend, this Sunday? I'll give you a hint.
Willie.
The lead singer of one of the bands, it was two bands. Lead singer of one of the bands just got the key to the city in Fullerton, California.
Anybody can have a key to any city. And that's what my director wants.
Yeah. It's related to Johnny Cash. I mean, you should know me well enough by now. If I'm going to do something like that, it's related to something you just said. Okay. So it is related
to Johnny. Waylon.
What? Okay, I guess I got to tell you. No, it was two punk bands.
Oh,
Bad Religion and the other band does Johnny Cash songs because they're cowpunk.
Okay, just go say it.
Social D. Social D. Social Distortion.
Okay. What song did they do? Like Hurt?
No, that's not his song, you dingbat. Yeah. You do realize that he covered that song from somebody else.
Who was the original singer that did that?
9 Inch
Nails, but they weren't no.
They are the originals.
Come on.
This is an argument we've had before on this show before you're on. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Johnny Cash stole it from 9 Inch Nails and did a bang up job, man. That was the last song he ever did, and he did it dedicated. Like, what a story between Johnny Cash and June Carter. My God. That is, you know what? I can watch that movie 10 million times.
Me too.
10 million times. That movie is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Chad was that. We used to make fun. Chad and Heather were like that. You know, do you remember that, Rebel? So yeah,
I do.
Chad, who was our head engineer here, you know, he always used to say, I like metal, I like country, and I like Neil Diamond. Because he had a metal band in the 80s, and they had a country rock duo, and he could sing Neil Diamond. You swore it was Neil Diamond.
Nice.
But the thing is, it was the same situation. Like, I used to be out with them all the time, and I would be the one going, no Chad, no Chad, no Chad. One time I left early. Okay. And Heather was sick that night. They were performing because I'd be at all their shows like their, manager. And so Heather calls me up. I was already home. She's like, you got to go back to so-and-so. And I'm like, why? What's up? Yeah. Chad sang Sweet Home Alabama 4 times in a row. And he's standing up on the
People are like, no more.
And he's standing on the speakers. And, like, there used to be 2 Chads. There was Chad and Brad. Chad was the first set, and then Brad came for the second set. And he used to drink like a whole bottle of Jack Daniels before the first set was over. Brad came out. And he was the most entertaining drunk ever. In fact, I think he peed on Rebel's foot once.
Did she get stung by a jellyfish?
No, he peed on someone else's foot, not mine.
We had this friend Rosie, okay, and he used to like elbow her like lightly and go, Rosie, I need to pee. And that should have been her clue to get away, and he would just whip it out and pee right on her foot.
Where is he now? Is he gone to see Jesus?
Yeah, he passed away. He
alcohol?
No. He was with me since the very beginning of the network. Like, we used to sit here when we first started this thing 18 years ago, and
she has feelings.
He used to go, you hear that? And I'm like, no. And he goes, we need to fix that. And I'm like, okay. Like, he used to hear things in here. Like, when he was performing, he would play guitar, sing, and play with the mixer board the whole time because he was so anal about the sound.
Wow. Yes, indeed.
So y'all never said what happened.
I
feel like I'm reading a book and I can't get them.
It was really quick. Like, one day he was helping me do my move, back into the condo and the pipe cave. And then the next day he was in the hospital, and like a few days later he died.
Well, what?
He had 1,200 sugar when he got to the hospital.
Oh.
So just for you people that don't know, 159 is diabetes. 400 to 500, you go into a coma. 600, 700, you're dead. He had 1,200.
So did he not know that he had it, or what happened?
I don't know. All I know is everything just started shutting down like real quick. But he was such a. I know he was sick for a while and nobody knew. He was such an ox. Like he was coming to help me, and I could tell he didn't feel good. I'm like, dude, go home. And like he was that dedicated, like like to the day of, and he would do shit like that too. Like I'd walk into the studio and he'd play this new Pipeman commercial. I'm like, and he's like, "What do you think of that? That's freaking awesome." And you know, like I didn't ask him. He was just like, you know, that creative type that he just would play around with stuff and figures out. But he was a genius musician, genius board guy. But we have Juan, who is also a genius, because one of our shows that's been with us for a long time, they're like, this guy was in radio before. He's like, Juan is the best engineer I've ever had in my life. So there you go. It took me several years though. Like, right, Rebel? Like it was pretty hard to and then I finally did find somebody that I thought was also of an equal quality to Chad, and he died like 2 months later. So Juan,
oh my God.
Yeah, Juan, be careful. Engineers here, that you know,
that's enough, right? Juan, right there. He's out. Exactly.
All right. Well,
a pipe nut like us. Don't do the other side of it, right?
All right.
Oh
God. What did I miss? I missed some stuff. So whatever
all of
I
it.
Missed. Whatever
we
I
didn't
missed,
even talk.
We'll talk about next week. What? Go ahead, Rachel. What?
I wanted to hear about your daughter's amazing dish.
Her amazing dish.
Yeah, she did a Passover.
Seder.
It wasn't just a dish. She did an amazing job with this whole. It's like a Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
And then you also read the whole story of Passover.
I've done it.
Okay, so here's the question that I talked about. You want to win tickets to a festival? You could win tickets to Born and Raised. You could win tickets to Sonic Temple. There's others you might win tickets to. But to be entered to win, you need to DM me, message me, whatever, Pipeman Radio and all socials, and tell me why all Christians should know what Passover is.
So that we don't repeat. Oh, sorry.
If you can answer that question correctly, you're entered to win, because there's so many Christians that they're like, I don't even know what Passover is about. And I'm like, how do you not know what it's about? And because
we should educate people.
Let's not even every religion in the world should know what Passover is.
That's right.
And there's a reason for it.
Yes, there's a reason. I know it all. I know all that, because I live in my land.
There it is. So if Rachel knows, anybody should know.
That's for damn sure.
So if you don't know and Rachel knows, oh my God,
that says something.
I remember reading it or them teaching it in school. I used to go to Catholic school.
Catholic. See, and Catholicism
is
a form of
her uniform on OnlyFans.
Right. We only know what they told us. So, I mean, it may or may not be true, because God knows they lied. I went there. Go ahead if you want to start the mean things.
Okay, we got somebody that gave an answer. Somebody gave an answer here.
Hey, Michael.
All right, there it is. I'm going to end the show on that. Okay, people, if you're still here, you're still paying attention. It's the frickin' second book of the Bible. So when you're quoting your scripture to me, you better remember that Passover is part of your scripture. And so, yeah, it's historical. The Jews were slaved. They were freed. And if it weren't for that, there would be no 10 commandments, and we would all just be killing each other. Oh, wait, that's what we're doing in the whole world anyway. Maybe we need to go in a different direction. Let's find out next week.
Okay.
Is that the same story where you had to put the blood on the door so they didn't come and kill your first kid?
That's
or
why
your
they call it Passover. They want you to pass over in my house. That's what they were all saying. Really pass over my house. I got the blood. Passover.
That's
they
right.
Never really said.
If you want, we can talk about this more next week. But we really got to go because I did it late again. Okay, but. Catch the Pipe Man's going to have some interviews, maybe from tomorrow night, maybe from SunFest. And next week, the Pipe Man is going to be right before or right after leaving to go to Welcome to Rockville. That day, I'm going to Welcome to Rockville, the show. this show, The Adventures of Pipeman, 1 p.m. Wednesday, live on W4CY Radio and Talkboard TV, is going to be the start of Welcome to Rockville. So you need to tune in, and we may even have some more tickets to give you, some more fun, and maybe more nuts. Don't know. Let's see. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Any last words, nuts? Pipe nuts?
Have fun.
Be
safe. Make memories.
Do. Roll it, Juan.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.